In the first part of the UnFranchise Manifesto, we discussed how and why Market America and the UnFranchise were created. And we discussed the genesis of the Market America UnFranchise business opportunity and how it's the answer and solution to the industry's problems. In fact, we set out to change an industry, but we ended up creating a new industry. So the evolution of a hybrid model is very important to understand. And we discuss what differentiates it from other opportunities and gives it the competitive edge. We discussed in depth the original genesis of my idea and the experiences that surrounded it that led to Market America and why it was started and what it was founded upon. And I think the movie example and story illustrates the logic behind it and why it was an idea whose time had come. And it allowed us to do what we call one-to-one marketing, where we were building a database of what customers wanted to buy and referrals and recommendations, and that led to a way of tracking it. So we were able to match products to people and people to products. And we know that people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. So we were finding out what they wanted and providing it for them. So out of that experience came a mall without walls, if you will, where we identified 10 major multi-billion-dollar markets of products that were market-driven that people wanted. And you could have a marketing experience or a store in that mall without walls, and whatever area you were good at, that you were interested in, that you were connected in, and make huge retail profits. But at the same time, you could identify people that had other interests in a different store or multi-billion-dollar market. And behind that, we had the Market America University to provide the training and the support in each store. And you would get credit for the business that somebody else was doing in that mall without walls, without having to do it yourself. So you could have many people that had many different stores that were all working in cooperation and collaboration, but everybody shops. So when they came into this mall without walls, we had a shopping experience with all of the major brands so people could get anything that they wanted, and you would be able to get a credit for that and have a residual income. A revolutionary idea that had never been done before. And if a new product line or market emerged, that could be included in the mall without walls. So what emerged from this was a revolutionary new tracking system that tracked all customers to each UnFranchise owner's business development centers, and then connected other UnFranchise owners that may be in a different market or a different product area in the mall without walls to each other in two vertical lines, paying the most money possible on the least possible production, the smallest multiplier. Now, this was revolutionary. It had never been done before. And of course, it addressed many of the problems that other business models had. It was a vertical model, and it maximized every UnFranchise owner's ability to derive a residual income on the least business volume with the smallest multiplier and the highest profitability. It was revolutionary new thinking. It had never been done before. But we know that the mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. And the only exercise that some people get is jumping to conclusions. So what happens sometimes is people have preconceived notions and they jump to conclusions and think that this is like something else, which it is not. And because it is new thinking, you have to think in a new way. You have to understand what makes this work and why it's different. You don't want to be crippled by obsolete thinking. You see, this is a new model, a new way of thinking, a new technology, a new system. And preconceived notions sometimes causes people to think in an obsolete way. For instance, a typewriter is obsolete, and it definitely is not like an iPod or a computer. There's a world of difference between the two. Okay, an 8-track tape system plays music, and so does an iPod, but they're not the same. Streaming is even more advanced. You certainly wouldn't want to go to an old paper map and have to unfold it in your car when you have the ability to use GPS tracking systems that is a talking map. And who goes to the library anymore to research a subject when you have Google? So when we talk about the binomial system and the unfranchised system, we're talking about that type of differential. So you have to think in a new way, and you have to understand why it's different and experience it if you want to reap the benefits. And communicating this to other people is very important, because people do get stuck on preconceived ideas and they do jump to conclusions, and it's our job to put them down the right path so that they see the light, so that they get it. And that's what we're going to be discussing here. So it begins with, what is Market America? But now do you see, understanding the genesis or evolution of Market America and why it was created, and the problems of the industry and other opportunities that it addressed are very important. Okay, so do you know what Market America is? Market America is a product brokerage and internet marketing company that specializes in one-to-one marketing and social shopping. That certainly is not like the thousands of business opportunities or direct sales opportunities that came before us, that we may have evolved from, but we are totally different. Okay, so do you know what that means? Most people cannot answer the question. When you meet somebody and they've never been in anything before, they have a fairly open mind, but this is all new. They've never heard of these concepts before. But that's a good thing. This is actually really great because it's a revolutionary new model, and like franchising was in 1950. Now, what if you got into franchising before it became a household word? You would have been leading the parade. And we know, in order to be successful, you have to identify a trend, a paradigm-shifting trend that's going to change the way people do things forever, and position yourself to lead the parade rather than follow the parade. But if everybody already knew about the unfranchised and the binomial system and Market America and Shop.com, the opportunity wouldn't be as great. So you're at the beginning of a new movement, of a new paradigm. Now, people like to relate anything new to something that they already know. It's the way the mind works. It's the way the brain works. And they use it as a reference point to compare it to. They quite often say, what's it like? Oh, it's like this or it's like that. Well, no, it's really not like anything, okay? But this is really not like anything, but if I were to compare it to anything, I think I would compare it to a franchise, because it has similarities but powerful differences and advantages that make it better. It eliminates the downsides to franchising, but offers the same systemization and turnkey system that franchising has. And it eliminates the royalties and the franchise fees, and works the opposite of a franchise in the economic model. So we call it the unfranchise. And you can learn about that in the many trainings, unfranchised business presentation and the many trainings. But what about my stereotype ideas, preconceived notions, and what people say? Inevitably, some uninformed person or somebody that may have been in another opportunity or company jumps to conclusions. Their parachute is not open, so their mind is not working, and very innocently, they ask if it's MLM or multi-level marketing, or they compare it to networking or network marketing, or because of the structure of the tracking system when put on paper, resembles a triangle, they ask if it's a pyramid because they have heard of pyramids before. I'm sorry, we're not in Egypt. It's not a pyramid. Okay, but why would someone confuse UnFranchise with MLM or network marketing? This is a good question. Okay, first of all, multi-level means that it pays on successive levels or tiers of people leading to people horizontally. It doesn't have levels or pay on levels at all. So fundamentally, right from the start, the functionality of the system and the tracking system are totally different than a multi-level or network marketing program. Secondly, it doesn't require sponsoring people horizontally in width to be profitable, where they're all competing with each other, and they must duplicate that on successive levels in a recruiting game in order for it to last, because the people that they bring in horizontally need to do the same thing in order to make money or they won't stay. So it becomes an exponentially increasing requirement of producing new people in a recruiting game rather than a merchandising marketing game building a volume base that produces a residual income. And it solves the repeated problems of MLM and network marketing. As we look into it, we see again and again and again why this actually eliminates the downside and the problems of traditional programs. Okay, so you need to look closer and pay attention is the point. Seek the answers, discover the secret in this. What are the answers? And how do I overcome these questions and preconceived notions? That's where the power is. That's where the insight is. That is where the money is. So you need to look closer and pay attention, seek the answers, discover the secret. That's what you want to do in this session. And this is why this presentation provides the basics for you. You don't know what you don't know. In fact, you don't know that you don't even know it. And that's true of everyone that you speak to. So if you want to be successful, you need to identify a paradigm shifting trend and position yourself to lead the parade rather than follow the parade. In order to do that with the UnFranchise and the binomial system, you have to understand how and why it's different and why it has a competitive edge. So this is the first in a series of lessons that will empower you to do exactly that. You're at the right place, at the right time, with the right opportunity, in the right market, with the right people. And you need to understand why and be able to explain it to others. I think the reason that it gets confused sometimes is because it is a tracking system that appears on paper like a diagram of networking or MLM and people leading to people. But in what way? You see, this is totally different. In those systems in the diagram, they are building out horizontally in order to have profitability. And then they have to repeat that tier after tier or level after level, which is an exponential curve in order to succeed. This is a tracking system that's very organic and natural. You don't have to fill out symmetrically level after level. It just goes wherever it goes, people leading to people, exactly like the movie example. And instead of people buying product or buying positions, it's tracking the volume of customers that are tied to an UnFranchise, and the UnFranchises are then connected in a vertical line to maximize the volume where everybody benefits from everybody's efforts, and at the end of the day, it produces a residual income based on the least possible volume. But even with those two lines, as it begins to expand out, and it doesn't have to have any structure, it kind of looks like a diagram of a network marketing system. But it actually works in the reverse, tracking volume infinitely, bringing it up to the BDC so that the BDC gets paid without any time limit. So it's totally different. It works actually the reverse. But when you look at that on paper, sometimes it stimulates a preconceived notion. So the idea of networking is where people get confused. The model is totally different, revolutionary, and then they get to that part of it and they relate it to networking. But think about networking for a minute. What's wrong with networking? I mean, networking or people referring others for business purposes is used in every business by those who succeed, from real estate to insurance to affiliate marketing to securities to even manufacturing. People lead to people. People refer people. And we just happen to have a better way of tracking it and compensating people for participation. That's the magic. Okay, so the tracking system connects the customers to you and other unfranchised owners that you lead to, and their customers, because if their customers are tied to them and you're tied to the unfranchised owner in a vertical thread, it all accumulates or accrues to each unfranchiser in the channel. So everyone gets 100% credit for the sales volume in the referral thread or the channel using our social currency, BV or IBV, to generate a weekly residual income. Each unfranchised owner also makes retail on the store that they operate within the mall without walls. And in order to accomplish this, there must be a multiplier so that everybody can get credit, and the smallest multiplier is 2. So it requires 2 channels or threads, and we figured out how to give everyone 100% credit on all orders and the maximum payout on each product sale. Does that sound like multi-level or network marketing? I don't think so. Okay, so we invented the vertical binomial marketing model, eliminating the need to add units or people horizontally that are in competition with each other in order to derive a profit from the difference between your aggregate volume accumulation and what the units of each person or each store in width do, and make it on a lower percentage individually. So that's a problem. You have to have so many units or so many people sponsored that are doing less than the company or the real estate office or the upline in multi-level, and then they have to duplicate that again and again. The vertical system eliminates that. And so I would advise, if you really want to do this well, to get with someone who's been through the training and that is succeeding, and learn the answers and why this is revolutionary and different from anything else. Because we can put it up back to back to any other program and wipe them away. But we go beyond that because our model is in line with reality. It's relevant. It's ahead of the curve. Therefore, the numbers in a compensation plan or marketing plan will always win on when you compare volume to volume, and then eliminate the downsides of the width and the competition and the other fallacies in those programs. But that's just where we begin, because we have systems that bring customers. We're in line with the flow in the economy to where things are going, rather than an antiquated system. So you don't know what you don't know, and you don't even know that you don't know it. And I love the quote, "Know ye the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Well, once you understand the truth, you're going to be powerful. So you need to know it well enough to influence others, and that's what this is about. So do you know how to build a human pyramid? Do you? Have you ever tried it? It's very difficult, and you have to find people strong enough to do it, and it's hard to make it last. Well, just imagine a pyramid in gymnastics compared to holding hands in a circle. That's a good comparison between this system and our system. Yeah, it takes people, and people lead to people, but holding hands in a circle is much easier and can last over this type of scenario. So, do you know in a business sense what these things are? Do you know how a corporate organization structure works? How a government organizational structure works? Do you know how a network marketing genealogy works? And do you know what MLM structure actually is and how it works or how it functions mathematically, and the difference between that and a pyramid marketing system? Do you know why they work and why they do not work? Can you explain it right now? Well, you need to learn. And for somebody that doesn't know these things and can't explain these things, to tell you that our program is like one of them is ludicrous, because it's just not that way. They don't have the knowledge to explain it to you. So even from a diagram perspective, you know what the UnFranchise system looks like in the binomial system, but it doesn't look like these. And these are multi-level systems, and there's a variety of them. There's stair-step breakaway, there's matrices, there's uni-levels, okay? And they all resemble each other and have similar problems. But I think you would agree that our structure, even in tracking, doesn't resemble these. So when you take a look at a network marketing company or an MLM company, they may look similar on paper, and it could be a 2-by matrix or a binary, okay? But that is totally different. They look similar on paper, but are much different in reality and much different in how they work. Because here in the Market America UnFranchise system, each participant gets a shop.com in a box and a Market America mall without walls with the university, and is able in that business, okay, to have customers tracked and attached to their business, and then the volume vertically connects to each UnFranchise and accumulates up to develop a residual income. Now, can you immediately see how those two systems are different, even on the surface, without understanding all the dynamics? Now, if you have questions about pyramid diagrams versus legitimate marketing and MLM, and people come out with the statement, oh, that's like a pyramid. Sometimes they don't mean anything like that. There's an excellent little video, we're going to cover it in depth later, but for your own edification and being able to answer that very quickly, you can use this video that I think is very humorous. It's kind of funny, and it makes the point, and it gets people to understand, wait, I really don't know what I'm talking about.
I have decided that my job sucks, the economy sucks, and the only way things are going to get better is if I do something about it.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to build a network marketing business.
What is network marketing?
A network marketing company allows you to build your own business by creating a group of distributors and customers that consume the products sold by the company.
That sounds like one of those pyramid things.
What do you mean by pyramid things?
One of those things where the only people that make lots of money are the people at the top.
You mean like the company you work for?
But don't you have to get in early to make any money?
Actually, in a good network marketing company, you can make more money than the people above you if you are more productive.
Are you sure it isn't a pyramid scheme?
Yes.
How are you so sure?
A pyramid scheme is where you make all of your money by recruiting others and there is no product or service being exchanged.
It still sounds like a pyramid scheme.
In a legitimate network marketing company, you make most or all of your money from people using the products.
It still sounds like a pyramid scheme.
In what way?
Because when you draw it out, it looks like a pyramid.
How is that relevant?
It just seems like a pyramid scheme.
If you were to draw out the organization chart of the company you work for, what shape would it be?
A pyramid.
If you were to draw out the organization chart of the church you go to, what shape would it be?
A pyramid.
If you were to draw out the organization chart of the Girl Scouts, what shape would it be?
A pyramid.
Are you understanding my point?
Yes. I had no idea there were so many pyramid schemes out there. Do you really think you can make money with your pyramid scheme?
According to the U.S. Department of Labor and the Direct Selling Association, with the same time and effort, I'm 5 times more likely to earn over $100,000 in network marketing than at my life-sucking job.
Yes. I hate my job too. That is why I play the lotto every day after work. 16, 22, 84 baby.
Maybe you should start your own business also instead of completely leaving your future to chance.
But I have heard people say negative things about network marketing.
Like who?
Like my brother-in-law.
Is he wealthy?
No.
Does he own his own business?
No.
Would you consider him a credible expert on the subject?
No.
Would you consider him a credible expert on any subject?
Not really. But why do some people say network marketing doesn't work?
For the same reason that some people think our government's Social Security program is sustainable. Total ignorance.
Are there any credible experts that support network marketing?
Have you heard of Robert Kiyosaki, the author of one of the top-selling financial books of all time?
No.
He is a big supporter of network marketing. He calls it the perfect business. Have you heard of Donald Trump?
Yes, he has funny hair.
He is also a big supporter of network marketing. Have you heard of Warren Buffett, the most successful investor of all time?
No.
He is also a supporter of network marketing.
And you think these people are more credible experts than my brother-in-law?
Yes.
I still think it sounds like a pyramid scheme.
Are you kidding me? Have you been listening to anything that I have said?
Yes, but I still think it is a pyramid scheme.
Can you please explain your argument?
I just think it is a pyramid scheme.
I think I'm going to leave now.
Wait. Aren't you going to try to recruit me?
No.
Why not?
I thought you said it was a pyramid scheme.
I did, but I think I want to join now.
I would rather shove thumbtacks into my eyes and walk into traffic than have an incompetent moron like you on my team.
Oh. Okay. Talk to you later then.
Not likely.
So open your mind and you'll know the secret, and the answer could mean millions to you. Okay? So in order to do that, we have to stimulate your thinking. If you don't think, you're not going to get it. But if you think and get it, you are going to be powerful. Okay, so if I pick your brain, a billionth of a volt might go off, and that could change your thinking. Now, we have to change our thinking if we want to change our result. And that's what this is all about. So it's not like these, okay, if we can all agree on that. Okay, and there's a difference, and if you figure it out, you could get rich. So here's the fundamental differences if that billionth of a volt goes off right on the front end. Okay, so the critical difference is that it's not MLM because it's a tracking system for sales and volume. And it's an internet marketing business with each unfranchised owner getting a shop.com in a box, or specializing in one of our stores, a $1 billion market, with the Market America University giving them the support to generate retail sales and a customer base. And of course, those customer bases are tied together or linked together from entrepreneur to entrepreneur in just two vertical lines, because you need a multiplier in order for everybody to get credit for the sales and the volume and the efforts of each other, creating teamwork rather than competition. That's different. But if you take a look at the branding and what we're known as, which I think is a good test, what the public perception is and the media message is, okay, it's exactly what I'm saying. They don't relate us to those things at all. We're an online retailer. We're an online shopping experience. We're an internet marketing company. So when you take a look at the press and media, well, we've given you some links that you can actually see this. Market America has been branded and perceived as an internet marketing online shopping company, and is in the top 50 internet retail companies in the world, according to Internet Retailer. And you cannot fool investigative reporters, and look at how the world sees us through the press and media. I think it tells the story.
From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, this is Street Smart with Carol Masser and Matt Miller.
All right, welcome back to Street Smart. I'm Matt Miller. A merger in the online retail sector this week with the acquisition of Shop.com by Market America. Terms of the deal were not disclosed, but Market America CEO James Ridinger promises it will revolutionize the shopping experience on his site. He joins us now live from Miami. JR, we appreciate it. Do you want to disclose the terms of the deal to us right now on live television?
Well, unfortunately, I'm prohibited to do that by the agreement, but it's the synergy of the deal that'll determine the numbers, and I think they're going to be phenomenal.
Let's talk about what it's going to do for Market America, because they have a lot of traffic on Shop.com, about 5 times the eyes that see Market America. Shop.com is a site, and correct me if I'm wrong, that steers you towards places where you can buy the stuff you want, whereas at Market America, you sell stuff directly. How do you synergize this deal?
Well, it's a magic combination. First of all, the timing of the deal couldn't be better with the migration and paradigm shift to online shopping and social shopping. But you hit it right on the head. Shop.com is incredible at driving traffic, but the customer finds what they want very well on Shop.com, but then goes off to the merchant. With our new model, we'll retain those customers with tender loving care, and help them find what they want and provide them a shop consultant that is an online guide. So the combination of these two businesses, this partnership, makes us an online shopping experience that's like none other.
How do you intend to combine the two sites? You're not going to make them one site, right? I mean, you're still going to keep the two sites running separately.
That's right. In the beginning, we'll keep them both running separately, and then integrate the best parts of Shop.com's site on ours, the best parts of ours on theirs, and provide one set of shop consultants for all the customers that come on board. The synergy of the deal is kind of unique. There's 3 things that really make it powerful. And I think it could be catalytic in changing the way people shop. The first is Market America brings people power to the deal. We have shop consultants that will be an online guide and personal shopper for customers that come to the site. And you combine that with Shop.com's technology. I mean, it's incredible. We have to combine 50 million products and 3,000 name brands. They have incredible search and intuitive navigation that narrows down to finding what you want. The best in comparative shopping, and their merchandising displays are just phenomenal. And you combine one more thing with that and you have magic, and that's paying the customer to do what they love to do, which is shop. And if they like the experience, paying them to invite others to shop.
So you give people, what, 2%, I think, on all their purchases, and then you give them also a boost if their friends come on at their recommendation.
Exactly. It's kind of like economic glue in social shopping.
Let me ask you about your revenues. You had $323 million in 2009 in sales on Market America. What do you think Shop.com does for 2011?
Well, right now we're annualizing at 460 million wholesale, which is about 600 million retail. We see this creating our billion-dollar role. Just take 5 times the traffic and convert those customers into a profitable model. We're going to go way past the billion mark, and we think that we're going to make waves in the online shopping industry. We're on a billion-dollar roll. So take a look, show it to your friends, and I think you will get rid of that type of perception. Okay, so questions and answers are very important. You need to have the answers. More information on each of these topics is provided in the UnFranchise Binomial Manifesto as a reference guide for you. You need to be fully educated and empowered so that you know the whys behind all aspects of the business model, structure, requirement, the industry differences, the economics of the marketing plan, the mathematics behind the marketing plan, the legalities, and the histories. You want to become an expert. You want to be equivalent to a PhD in this. I always joke that must mean piled high and deep. But you want to be the expert. So there's additional lessons on MLM, networking, business opportunities, pyramids, security issues, scams, and schemes, so that you can answer anything and answer it with confidence and authority. So let's take a look at the big questions. Take a closer look for your own sake of why this is totally different from network marketing or MLM type of programs. In fact, when somebody says that, I have to ask, why would someone ask that? I guess it's because they have preconceived notions, because if you know anything, it's totally unlike that. But where do they even get it from? It makes no sense. How is it like MLM? Well, it usually because someone told them that, and they knew someone that was in MLM. So they make that quantum leap of a preconceived notion, relating it back to something that they already know as a reference point. MLM is an old, antiquated model. And it's like comparing a vinyl record to an MP3 player or streaming. This is a new hybrid, revolutionary model. It's next generation in marketing systems, and there's really nothing like it. So you have to understand it from the beginning. But if we were to compare them, okay, you're going to find that there are more differences than similarities. In fact, there are overwhelming differences. And even when we look at the marketing plan, which is a diagram that they're referring to, that they took the jump of a conclusion to say it's like that, they're actually diverging. They're actually moving away from each other. When you look at the dynamics, they're actually different. Because we have a vertical structure, and multi-level or network marketing systems require a horizontal structure. And worse than that, they have to repeat it over and over, tier by tier, in order to have stability or security or for people to last. So profitability and stability and security are accomplished simultaneously and duplicated at the same time. I can't even emphasize enough how important that is. It makes all the difference in the world when it comes down to reality of building the business. But you see, and these other programs, you have 10 to 20 people in competition with each other, and that's how many you need to have a full-time income or to have comparable income to what you would have with two in the Market America UnFranchise system. There's no cooperation between those people, and you must build all 20. Now, some of you that have built the Binomial system and UnFranchise know that it takes quite a bit of work just to build two. How are you going to build 10 to 20 for the same profitability? This is synergistic because everybody gets credit for each other. Everybody's on the same team. This, you're spread very thin in multi-level or network marketing, and everyone must succeed and duplicate on their own. Then here, there's a common economic interest, and it's and multiplied effort of more people working to help each individual succeed. If I have 10 people working separately in competition, okay, how much work is it going to take to get them to succeed? But if I have 10 people working together, they get credit for each other, plus the leader who brought them in, there's a much higher probability of success. So this is built in teamwork and common economic interest, but in the multi-level program, each must duplicate the same 10 to 20 again to duplicate profitability, and it requires exponentially larger numbers of people. So it's not only the fact that they have to do horizontal 10 to 20, not only that, in order for those people to stay in for their profitability, they have to do 10 to 20. And that repeats over and over and over again. It becomes very unrealistic. But everyone gets credit for each other's recruiting and sales. And this one, it requires too many people and too much volume for any one person to make money. So they're much different. They're diverging. So in the unfranchised MPCP, it's diabolically different and better than MLM. The only similarity is that it involves recruiting or networking, as does any business model, as I explained before. It's done in everything. We just have a better way of tracking it and a better way of compensating. So the more you look and understand, the greater the difference. So let's talk, it all comes down to money, doesn't it? So let's talk about to make $2,000 to $5,000 per month, which is enough income to pay attention and to go full time. Well, in the MLM program, you need 10 to 20 organizations versus just two in the unfranchised binomial MPCP. You choose, which is more realistic, which is easier, okay? And that's to make the same money. So you have two organizations vertical. Here you have 10 to 20 organizations horizontal in width. They look similar, but they work opposite in different directions, okay? with the unfranchised business system being 4 to 6 times more profitable and stable. I'll repeat that. On the long haul, it's 4 to 6 times more profitable and stable. So you can see the differences between the MLM network marketing, multi-level marketing type of dynamics and the unfranchised binomial dynamics. So MLM higher level production bonuses are often touted. They say, look, yeah, that's true, but if you get up to the top, look at all the money that you're going to make. But that's compared to our multiplying success with re-entries and others making money at the same time. One of the unique features of the unfranchised and binomial system is that when you make money, it's done by having other people make money too. It's just the nature of the system. It's indigenous to the program. It's inherent in the very design. So it requires maintaining, in the MLM system, it also requires maintaining your own personal volume, which results in buying inventory or adding more new groups on and with, spreading oneself thin and with the legs in competition with each other. In the MLM program, it requires building a certain number of legs horizontally or wide to an independent management level or success level of $5,000 to $20,000 per month. That's a lot of work and a lot to handle. And you're spread thin and everyone is in competition. Therefore, your people aren't succeeding. And in the binomial MPCP, you do not succeed at the expense of others, or you don't make money off of them. You make money because of them and because they have volume and because they're succeeding. So the more they make in the MLM system, the less you make. So as your people rise, you're making less. And to increase your income, you have to make them reach the direct level or the management level and break away, and then you have to replace their volume by recruiting even more people. Because without that personal group volume, generally you lose the other bonuses on the successive levels that's paid as an override. So multiple BDCs, in contrast to that, and re-entries always multiplies income and exceeds the MLM production or leadership bonus. But it also, at the same time, simultaneously, it secures your team's income so that you have true success and true stability because you have other people making money. So the binomial MPCP searches for volume to infinity, giving multiple people credit for the volume. So there's a certain leveraging in this because it's just not you getting volume and you're not in competition with people. Other people are accomplishing their goals at the same time. So you multiply your income by vertical re-entry. Instead of going into competition when I reach a certain income level and adding another one on and another one on in order to make money, I'm doing it vertically under my people, helping them succeed. And of course, they're on my team too to help me succeed, creating an incredible economic synergy and an economic bond. That doesn't exist in MLM. Matrix and unilevel programs have what I call the Swiss cheese effect, where they show big numbers on paper because if 4 get 4 get 4 get 4 and you're being paid higher percentages on lower levels, it looks like a lot of money. But just take one person not doing it in that sequence of levels and it creates a huge hole or gap or Swiss cheese below that somebody's going to have to fill in order for those numbers ever to become a reality. And it's just unrealistic. So in breakaway programs, you must replace the volume when people break away with inventory loading or adding legs and groups. So you either have to add a lot more people when somebody breaks away and succeeds, or in order to meet the requirement, you're going to have to buy thousands of dollars worth of inventory. And when you have to do that month after month, it starts to become a problem. But real activity, growth, or volume often comes in depth below the levels that pay, and the upline doesn't get credit. So let's suppose it's a 3-level program or a 5-level program, and it pays 5% on 5 levels. Quite often, and many of you know this that have actually built the unfranchised system, is your real stars, your real production. The real activity might come 6 levels down or 10 levels down. And the unfranchised binomial system, it searches to infinity to find volume to bring up to assure as many people as possible are getting paid. But in this, it cuts off at the 5th level, so the person on the 6th to 10th level, you get no credit for. And the person at the top makes no money on. So it's self-defeating. So you need width, horizontal groups, spreads you thin. There's no economic common interest between those groups. Everyone's working separately in competition. It makes more work for the person who's above them because they have to handle all 10 groups all by themselves. You need to duplicate horizontally and fill that in on repeated levels to secure the income of your 10 legs, because if they don't have 10 and you're the only one that has 10, they're not going to be making money and eventually they collapse. It requires too many people and too much volume for any one individual to make money. Are you sold yet? That's just the beginning though. The mere nature of the system has a vulnerability. The dynamics and economics of the plan, as well as the distribution system of redistributing products level to level. Like, they don't ship directly to all the customers usually. Sometimes they buy it and then they sell it to their people and they sell it to their people and then they sell it to customers, if there is any customers. Okay? So redistributing product level to level and multi-levels with the intention of eventually reaching a customer or being consumed has a lot of slippage and inventory loading. It is inevitable because of the design and the nature of the product. So the product isn't going directly to the customer, it's going to distributor who sells it to another distributor and then the customers. Quite often they have closet fulls or garage fulls of product. They had hoped that it would sell, but it doesn't. It's not really reconciled sales, therefore. They're not being paid on sales to the end user or liquidated product that was consumed. They're being paid on inventory rather than sales commissions or inventory. Now, there's actually a regulatory rule that states that 70% of that product should be consumed or go to end user, and there's even further definition of that it should go to a non-participant of the program, a real retail customer or preferred customer outside the program. So when you really look at the net profit, don't you have to, in accounting, back out the inventory? A lot of people that are claiming big incomes in MLM programs, it's really being paid on product that's in closets, garages, or inventory that has not moved to end user. So how much money are they really making? Like Herbalife had this problem recently and was accused of inventory loading and pyramid allegations because of it. And they've been around for a long time and are a decent company. But that's what happens. Amway had a problem with overpriced goods. Price loading to pay commissions is what they were accused of. In other words, if you take a bottle of soap and you can get it in a supermarket or anywhere else for $5 and you're charging $10 for a comparable product, people begin to ask why. And they're really buying it to make money out of the marketing plan rather than to sell a product to an end user consumer that's going to repeat. So the problem's exacerbated when a company doesn't ship directly to the customer because it gets hidden in the marketing plan, and then it comes back to haunt them. MA ships directly to customers and all distributors. A UFO can elect to deliver product, however, to a customer when it's convenient or makes sense or is good business, such as having motives, trunk shows, or certain events, and you have your customers there. You can then have the product delivered to you and delivered to them. But then afterwards, they can go online and it can be shipped to them on a repeated basis, a continuity program of sales with regenerated volume that feeds your residual income. And you get the metrics. You actually own the customer base, even though we ship to them. You own the customer base. We protect your customers. And you have the metrics, the profile, the demographics on every customer for relevant offers. And we're able to do more one-to-one marketing, matching product to people and people to product, because we know who the customers are and what their buying habits are, their profile. MA can reconcile. This is amazing. This is a big one. Market America can actually reconcile and document or prove that all commissions earned are based on retail sales to end users. This is a real business based on customer demand and regenerated or reoccurring orders and repeat sales. That is a real business, a strong business, where people are beating the door down for the product because they believe in it and it works, and you have a real customer base that is buying the product and making retail profits as an entrepreneur and franchise owner. So, in the other programs, because of the nature of the program, they need to duplicate horizontal fills and width with 6 or 10 to 20 legs and do it again in depth on successive levels, or the legs will fold up because they're not making money. So they have to constantly be recruiting. And so it requires exponential growth. It becomes impossible. And even if they did accomplish it, they would be saturating the marketplace with people in that type of business. So you have to understand, when you put the microscope on this, that there's an inherent flaw right from the beginning in most MLM or network marketing programs. There's a negative incentive on sales and volume growth. When I bring someone in and try to get them to rise, I start to make less as they rise. So it kind of contradicts the very nature of why we're doing it. So this is a great example. It's kind of a generic example of a normal MLM stair-step breakaway. Now what that means is that they have a scale. When somebody starts out, the more they do, the higher percentage they get on their sales. They may have people under them that are doing less, and they make the difference of their percentage and the person that they brought in's percentage. Okay, and the idea is to get to the top of the scale and become a manager. When you get a manager, they break away from you and deal directly with the company, and you get a little override on them. But you have to replace their volume, because you have to do that volume yourself, so you have to recruit more people. And this illustrates it. In order to make money, you need to have width. You have to have enough people doing less than you with their volume combining to put you at a higher level so that you're at a higher percentage. And then you make the difference between the percentage that you're at and what they make. So this shows with 10 legs, people at 5, 10, 15, 20% at various volume levels. You can see when they're at 1,000, they're at 15%. When they're at 150, they're at 5%. You are at 12,000 and at 25%. So you're going to make the difference of being at 25% in the percentage that they're at. Because you have a lot of people doing less than you, you make a profit. Okay? So on $12,000 volume, you're going to make the difference between 25% on that and what they make. But you have to have a lot of groups wide to be profitable. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope it's very obvious. But here's what happens when you have a lot of legs and are trying to help them grow. They're not helping each other. You have to help them. They have no incentive to help each other. But as your 10 legs grow and do more, you actually make less on each one of them. They reach the same level as you, they break away as managers, and you must replace the volume, which means you need to buy inventory and put it in your garage, or you have to go out and recruit 5 to 10 more people to do that. So it becomes the hamster on the treadmill, if you will. Okay? So as somebody rises, and you want to get to 25% where you are, that's 5,000 monthly volume, okay? You're going to get 25%, and you'll make, about $1,250, okay, is the payout when somebody reaches this level. So as they grow, move up the scale, this is a percentage that you make on them, which is really the difference between the percentage that they make and the percentage that you make. So, for instance, 15% from 25% means you would make 10% on someone doing 2,000 or hit the 2,000 bracket. So as they grow, as their volume goes up, you make less. You can see that right here, okay? This is what they're making, okay? And this is what you make. So it becomes about the same or less as they grow. So you're really not making much money by helping them grow up the scale. And I hope that that is very obvious. Then when they hit this level, the maximum, you're not making much more money, but they break away from you. They don't count anymore. You get a 5% override on them. They deal directly with the company, and you now have to replace their volume because you still have to do 5,000 personal group volume, which means you need to recruit more people. So the second phase is to get those people moving up the scale to actually be managers or at 5,000. So they have to duplicate what you did here, okay? And if they don't do that, they're not going to be making money, and it's going to collapse. So it becomes a massive recruiting task because you're building width, but it's not only you, you have to duplicate that over and over and over again for these people. What's the likelihood of that happening? So each of your distributors duplicate this with 10 wide in order to be profitable. Others, otherwise they just won't last. So there's no security or stability. Totally the opposite of the binomial system, the unfranchised system, where we build profitability vertically in depth, and we build profitability and stability or security at the same time. That's miraculous. That's an amazing accomplishment. Okay, so when we have this type of situation, okay, you're going to end up making 5% of 5,000 or $250 times 10, because you have 10 people, or 2,500. When I look at the volume of 55,000 per month and the workload involved in that, it's like the pump demonstration that I do. A person wears themselves out and they just can't keep going, and it's very difficult to duplicate. I then learned around 20 years old when I was in college about another way to make money. And a lot of people confuse this with that old form of business called horizontal marketing. One form of which is MLM marketing, okay? And so I got in, they said, man, your dreams can come true if you do this. Just look at the people making all the money, but you got to prime the pumps. So I start pumping and pumping because I had a dream and I was following their lead. I wanted residual income. Well, I had two, but I was only making $1.24. They said, you need more. You need at least 10. You need to go horizontal. You need width in order to be profitable in this. So I got myself another pump. I had three. Come on, guys, let's go, because we're going to make a lot of money. I'm going to do it first. And if I do it, you know you can do it. Come on, get in there. Oh, man, get back in there. I won't make any money if you stop. And I'm priming the pumps, priming the pumps. Give me another one. I need another one. Stay in. Come on, get back in there. You can't quit. I won't make any. Come on. Oh, $6.48. Wow. I got to have 10 to make over 1,000. Come on, guys. We got to do it together. We're a team. I got a dream. You got a dream too, don't you? Come on. Let's go, go. Come on. I need another one. Get back in there. I told you to stop quitting. Let's go, guys. We're almost there. I'm going to hit a pit level. You'll be so proud of me. I'll be on stage. I'll only be making $500, but I'll be a star. Oh, until I wear out. So in phase 3, okay, the idea is for get people to duplicate that level after level. Now just take a look at the workload that I already described. I can't imagine having to do it again because it is all consuming. But now their program is based on not only you doing it with 10, but then on the second level, there being 10 managers at 5,000, and on the third level. And you're going to get paid 5% on each level, on 3 levels. That's why it's called multi-level. Look at the volume that has to be done, okay? It's $5,000 per level. In this program, it's a 1,500 breakaway plan, okay? So you're talking about $50,000 volume per month on this level, okay? $50,000 times 10, because they're each doing it, is $500,000. And repeating it again on the third level would be a total of $5 million volume per month. Now, my point is it requires too many people and too much volume for any one individual to make money. It's just not realistic. So in order to be successful, you have to reach the manager level, and your people need to do the same thing. And that's usually, it's based on purchasing product. You're supposed to be selling it, but you're purchasing it directly from the company, and it's called personal group volume. So when we add it up on 3 levels, that's 20,000 per leg, 5,000 per person. You're making $250 per manager per level, or a total of $650. That's a lot of volume building a vertical line to earn just that much. But when 5,000 is reached by your people, you lose the volume. So they break away as managers, and you get a small override on each level of manager, and you must replace the volume in order to get the override. So in order to get this, they left your group, they're direct, you have to develop another $5,000 for the volume. What does a person usually do? Buy product, because they don't want to lose it. The fear of loss. They don't want to lose the commissions that they worked so hard to earn, so they buy a load of product and they say they'll sell it later. Well, the next month comes and the same thing quite often happens. So they got to buy more product. And when that starts to repeat month after month, you have a serious problem, and that's why they call it inventory loading. And note that this example pays on 3 levels of managers. What happens if the real growth happens below this? A real star comes out and develops a large organization doing hundreds of thousands of dollars for the volume. Well, even though you made $650 on these 3 levels, you would make nothing on that. And that's self-defeating. Are you beginning to get the picture? So that means you must sponsor more and more people with, or buy product yourself as an investor. And an example is you sponsor 5 more distributors that buy 1,000 PV each. That's 5,000. So now you've reached the requirement. And if you don't do it, you'll lose the 5% on 3 levels until you reach a higher level requiring a number of managers off of you. Sometimes they excuse it if you have 10 managers or 20 managers. But look what you had to go through repeating this phenomenon that I just went through over and over and over again. It's a long road to hoe. The dynamics inherently encourage inventory loading. Can you see that? The quick solution when you have people succeeding and you don't have the volume is to buy more product. The quick solution to get somebody to earn money quickly is to get them to buy more product to hit a level. And that puts you at a level. So inherently in the economic dynamics, it encourages inventory loading. And this can become a regulatory problem. Now that's a total reverse of Market America and the unfranchised system and the binomial system, where we're tracking sales from the bottom up. And we know from Form 1000 and online sales that that product is moving and the customers are beating the door down for it, and it's regenerated repeat sales, and you're making a retail profit that liquidates your expense and puts you in the black right away. So when you contrast Market America, it's retail driven. Okay, it's driven by sales to non-participants of the program, real customers. We ship directly to the customer so we know what's going on and you don't have to redistribute product. And that leads us to the shopping annuity aspect, where we can use our collective buying power to save money and convert spending into earning, funding residual income, because we provide people in the mall without walls and the shop.com online experience everything that they're already buying, all the brands that they're already buying, and great products from Market America, our brands that replace some products that they were using, that gives them a better value, and they end up loving the product. So we track and protect the customers. The unfranchised owner actually owns the customer, but we take care of them. We handle the fulfillment. We handle the tracking. You get the metrics. That allows us to do one-to-one marketing. We know that people hate to be sold, they love to buy, but we track what people want or what they're shopping for, and then we can make relevant offers so we can provide them what they're looking for. So we match product to people and people to product. What does that do? That increases share of customer. We're not so interested in market share as we are share of customers. How many things can I provide each loyal customer that they're looking for? If I can do that, I'm going to greatly expand my volume, and they like it because they rely on me to find the things that they want. Now, what other program does that? Do you see how it's totally different? It's the reverse of multi-level marketing. It's the reverse of network marketing, even though a diagram may look similar. Now, money's made by making others succeed first, rather than getting them to buy inventory or having them at a lower level at me and not hit the bracket, and then the month is over and all the volume sets to zero. That's something I didn't even hit on. They reset the volume to zero every month. Here we accumulate it, so it's not a matter of if you'll earn, just a matter of when you'll earn. Okay? However, these dynamics don't exist in the MLM program. So money's made off of making money off of others in the MLM or network marketing program, where it's made truly made by helping other people succeed here because they're in the same line of accumulation, not in competition. So does that sound like MLM or network marketing, or is it different? You say money's made in Market America by making others succeed first, rather than making money off of them by a percentage differential or at their expense. In MLM, usually one makes money off of breakage or dilution or someone else making less. That's the bottom line. So, comparing binomial MPCP to MLM example, as I just showed, let's take the same volume, same types of volume, relative volumes, and apply it to the binomial system, the Market America system. Okay? So here's what we just showed you. You saw the type of volume and the type of money. Okay? And let's compare the unfranchised binomial MPCP to the previous MLM examples based on the same relative and approximate volumes. Okay? The MLM commissions, you'll find, are 4 times or more, 4 times less than what they could be when you have 6 to 10 legs versus just 2 legs in Market America in the unfranchised, and your team and your unfranchised owners on your team are making money too. So there's a drastic difference. Okay, so this is what we're talking about, this example, this type of volume, and as we said before, or illustrated before, it's about $55,000 worth of volume there. When you multiply this 3 levels, it came out to millions of dollars of volume. And we're talking about an income of around $2,500 if one is able to accomplish that. So let's just translate that or move that into the binomial system and see what happens. So by now, I hope that you're getting the main point. And that is how the dynamics of a multi-level horizontal system are totally different and problematic compared to the unfranchised system. And the fundamental concept is that you have to build with everybody is in competition with each other. You make less as they grow, then they break off, and then the objective is to have tiers of them and duplicate that, requiring them to do the same thing, and you get paid on 3 to 5 levels, however many it is, and the real action may be off the pay line. But even then, you're talking about tremendously high amounts of volume to fill out those 3 levels of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of volume per month. Now, a matrix or a unilevel or a force matrix or a matrix binary are a little bit different, and they address some of these problems. However, they still have the same width problem and having to fill in a fixed structure of levels, and then some of the real action being off of the pay line. And the difference is that it requires greater numbers of people. And the flaw is that if there is a hole in the system where somebody doesn't produce, that duplicates or multiplies the hole in the structure on the successive levels, and that's how they showed big income, by multiplying the third level, fourth level, fifth level of many more people times a certain percentage. If those people don't exist and somebody has to fill them in, it's self-defeating. But we can talk about that later. So what I like to do when I'm talking to an experienced or successful person that has been in a multi-level program, especially a stair-step breakaway, but it also is applicable to a matrix or a uni-level. They say, listen, I don't want to waste your time. And I'm very familiar with the dynamics of every type of program. Can you show me how I can earn six figures, over $100,000 a year, on just two legs, and at the same time have my people earning significant money? Can you do that? And generally they say, well, what do you mean? I say exactly what I'm saying. I have learned over the years that you can really only build successfully two legs, maybe three or four if you're really experienced, but two legs at the same time and succeed. It takes a lot of work, a lot of time, and you have to make sure your people succeed. And I think that the industry statistics also confirm that. So show me how somebody can have a residual income of over six figures by developing just two legs and simultaneously have them succeed. And they kind of draw a blank. I said, well, let me show you our system and how it can be done, because there's no use comparing if this can't be done. So I take the diagram, and you know that they're already talking about doing $1,500 to $5,000 a month in the beginning at the lower levels, and then that has to grow to over $50,000 a month in the examples that I just showed you. Then to duplicate it tier after tier and to benefit from all three levels of payout or five levels of payout, you're talking about hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of volume. So taking that type of scenario and transferring that volume and those people into the vertical system, what would happen? So I start out by saying, in the vertical system, we're going to just build two legs, focusing on your residual income here, and hopefully at the same time to build successful residual incomes for the people that we're working with. Okay, so in the first step, okay, we're looking at $1,500 a week or $6,300 a month. The first thing you have to understand is their system is normally based on a monthly payout, and we have the ability to earn 4 times a month, or 4.2 times if you average it over a year. So if a person has a high volume, they can be turning that volume 4 times within that month in order to earn. If a person's at a lower level, they have the benefit of having the opportunity to earn checks on the way up 4 times, but they don't lose out if they don't have the higher volume, because it's accruing from week to week to month to month. So it's the best of both worlds for the person that's at the upper levels and the newer person building. So if we're here, we're talking about just building 2 legs in the unfranchised binomial model versus 10 to 20 legs like we showed you before in the multi-level model, to have that percentage differential on the volume, them doing less than your aggregate volume in order to be profitable. So we start building just 2 legs, and this one gets to $1,000 a week or $5,000 a week. That would be a total of $10,000 a week. Now, so that volume would be $10,000 a week or $40,000 per month. And your potential earnings on the volume would be $1,500 a week, okay, on 4.2 weeks, that's $6,300 a month. Plus, we know right behind that, we're going to be able to get a second residual check on their IBV or their shopping. And that kind of follows the BV residual income right behind it. So that's starting to pick up, and if it maxed out, that would be $6,300 a month, plus IBV would be $12,600 per month potential. And that's a second check, and this is pretty phenomenal, a second check on the same customers, same people, same organization, without having to recruit anymore. And of course, I'm basing this on 4.2 weeks. So we're talking about a $6,300 monthly income with 2 of your people earning checks also, with just 2 legs versus the MLM example of having to have 10 to 20 legs. And say it's a matrix or a unilevel and it was only 5 levels, or 5 across, 5 wide or 6 wide or 4 wide. It's still the same principle. And it's just more people that they have to place in a fixed structure horizontally, layer after layer, or tier after tier, or level after level in depth in that program. This, it doesn't matter where the action comes from. Anybody in that line can pick up and start to grow and succeed, and everybody above benefits, and it inures to your benefit and residual income. So, taking the next step, we continue to grow, building down the 2 legs that we started, rather than adding more on width. Now, if you remember in the other scenario, they had to add more and more groups in width in order to increase their profitability. So everyone benefits from each other's efforts, because if I'm adding or if I'm building, it's all down this line and everybody is benefiting. Okay, so let's say it gets to 10,000 and 10,000, which is pretty secure. You're now getting a management bonus. You have other people that are earning also in the leg. And when you would bring that together, it's 20,000. Because my first objective is to get other people earning money and succeeding in the leg so that I don't have to do it over. So that would be 20,000 a week in volume, or 80,000 per month. And we would now be getting 2,100 a week, or 8,800 a month, because I have somebody else earning checks on both sides. And as a result, I'm earning a leadership bonus. Plus the IBV is continuing to pick up and grow and accumulate and accrue and increase. So that is a potential of 15,120 per month from both the BV and the IBV from shopping. Again, based on 4.2 months. So we're talking about 80,000 volume and 8,800 per month in earnings, and it could be 15,120 per month, depending on how much shopping and IBV is starting to pick up. And the big point here is there's no levels and no horizontal growth necessary. No levels means I don't have to fill out anything symmetrically. Just one person somewhere down there wants to grow, and I work with them, then everybody benefits, and I've accomplished my income objectives successfully. So the next step, okay, would be when I secured these legs and people are making money in them, I may continue to work them, okay, but I now can open 2 more. And if I successfully build the 001 by having 2 strong legs, rather than trying to spread myself thin and doing 10, which is required in other programs, or in a matrix 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, okay, I now have a solid income here and solid volume and growth duplicating here. And I only have to build 1 more leg to double my income, not 2. And then I can build 1 more leg a 3rd time. Okay, so 1 here, 2 here, 3rd time here, 4th time here, and triple my income. Because once the 001 is built, I only have to build 1 leg to double it and triple it. So the 2nd and 3rd BDCs are 1/2 done because the volume went through them to build the 001. So when I built this got half done and this got half done. And so it accrued the BV into the BV banks. So now I can make twice the money, okay, by having 2 more centers qualified just for doing 2 more legs. So I add 5,000 volume as we start to build on each one of these legs. That comes to $30,000 a week. If you combine this, 10, 5, 5, and 10 is 30,000. That's $120,000 a month. That's about where they were in the fully filled out example in the multi-level stair step comparison that I did before. So the potential earnings then would be $5,100 per week, okay, equals $8,800 per month. And if you add IBV in that, it would have a potential, depending on how fast that accrued and started to build up, of $9,600 per week, a total potential of $15,120 per month. Okay, because we're getting a second check on the exact same organization from the shopping component in the IBV, and it's based on 2.4 weeks per month. So here we are, $9,600 a week. What's it going to take in the multi-level program versus the binomial program where I have other people succeeding and I only had to do 2, no levels, no need to add legs wide, no need to build horizontally. Much more realistic. And wait a minute, realistic? That's everything. You can put any numbers you want on a board or in a diagram. The point is what happens in reality. And the reality of the situation is it's been proven that you can't build more than 2 legs successfully at the same time. And the average person doesn't sponsor more than 2 to 4, 2.84. And so this program is in line with the reality, greatly increasing the probability of individual success. And everybody's interests are aligned and they're working in a team and you're ending up making more money. So you take it to the next step, okay? I now have my inside legs growing and succeeding so that people will be earning money there too, just like I did on the outside legs. This is much more realistic than trying to build 10 legs at once. So I'm working together, they're all benefiting from each other's efforts to build a leg. They reach 10,000 per month, and because of the way this is structured and the way it's done, and because people have the same interest, and are on the same team and aren't in competition, it's easy to add 2 more legs because these ones are already working and getting solid and there's teamwork rather than competition. You can't discount that factor because it's extremely important. So the sales volume would be 40,000, 4 times 10, or 160,000 a month. That's 6,300 a week because you're getting a leadership bonus, 2,100 per BDC. Which is 26,460 per month. If you add the IBV potential to that is growing right behind it from people shopping and transfer buying and the shopping annuity, it has a potential of 10,800 per week for a total of $45,360 per month. And it can be realistically achieved by a pro within a year, maybe even faster. If they already have a following, they can do it in a matter of months. So when we look at this, you're talking about the comparison of income being greater and how realistic it is being exponentially greater. So the next step then would be to start with reentries, because now I am solid on my first 3 centers. I have other people earning money. And by placing 4 reentries below the 002 and 003 strategically down each and building 2 legs, one is already built, and building 2 legs, one is already being built by the team above, so you're building 1 more with the help of the upstream team leaders who are also benefiting. You don't have that synergy in the MLM program because they're totally separate and in competition. You multiply your income while securing the upstream centers at the same time. So as I am doubling and tripling, quadrupling my income and multiplying my income with re-entries, I'm not spreading myself thin. I'm helping other people succeed at the same time because that volume goes through them also. And it's counting for my original centers, actually vesting them, guaranteeing the income. So it's unusual to be able in any business, whether it be franchising or insurance, to build a lot of business wide and not spread yourself thin. To be able to build profitability rapidly and at the same time stability and security is miraculous. So I'm not spreading myself thin for the sake of profitability at the expense of stability. So when you're going through this scenario comparing programs, which I try to focus on a six-figure income, just building two legs and helping other people succeed. Sometimes you talk to people that are familiar with the big hitters, the big stars that have made big money. And they want to know that it has that type of potential in our program too. And of course it does, but it has it with greater stability and based on other people's success rather than succeeding, at their expense or by making money off of them. And so fundamentally, I'm going to do that with re-entries by placing 4 re-entries below the 02 and 03 strategically down each line and building 2 legs. And remember, one of them is already being built by the interests of the team above. That's one of their legs. That's the power leg. So I'm really only going to have to build 1 more leg. But with the help of the upstream team, you have 7 UFO BDCs earning at once. So these re-entries now qualifying and my original 3 qualifying, I've multiplied my income. So let's take a look at it. You're talking about a sales volume of $80,000 a week or $320,000 per month. Now we're getting a comparable volume level to the levels being filled out successfully in the MLM example that I showed earlier. The point being, we're comparing approximate apples to apples volume-wise. Except I think that was around 500,000. We're talking about 320,000 here, which is a significant difference. But you would be able to earn 14,700 a week from the re-entries and the original 3 centers. The important thing being is in every leg you have a couple other people earning checks also at 1,500 to 2,100 per week. Or 6,300 a month. So you have people with good incomes. And if you add shopping to that, you're talking about 10,500 more a week or a total of 44,100 per month. So when we combine the BV and IBV, that's 25,200 a week or 105,840 per month when you include the BV and IBV potential. And that comes out to over $1 million per year, as you can say. So if you want to talk the big money, we wipe them away. But we wipe them away in a different way, a way where other people are succeeding too. And you have fundamentally built stability, security, and profitability into your residual income all at the same time. That's the difference. Show me how to do it on 2 legs. Okay, so we know that one of the dynamics here that makes it different is instead of building in width, we're building first in depth to secure a residual income based on retail sales being tracked from the bottom up in the tracking system. And once we succeed in the first center, then we have half of the other centers qualified too. The volume then that I build at the bottom by re-entering to multiply my income is counting for everyone in between securing their business, they're profiting from it, and also securing my original business. Okay, so when I do 1 on each side, the volume that is built to earn the second, or actually the 4th and the 5th check, because I'm earning 1, 2, 3 here, counts for the centers at the top. Vesting or guaranteeing that income in the 001. So it's very realistic to have 5 centers, your 3 top and 2 re-entries in the first few years. And in that case, you would be making well over $500,000, per year. Another interesting factor is as we are building, you can compare this to the first or second phase of the MLM comparison, except you don't have the width. Everything that we do is always being built vertically rather than going into competition with our people. So if somebody does a Moto's pop-up shop or some type of promotional event, or they go out and they sell web centers and they have more volume, they've already met their qualification. They're able to take that volume and place it strategically with people that they're working so that everybody ends up benefiting. So this is very unusual, because in the other models, any business that you develop, you're going to be placing horizontally, okay, to benefit. Here, we're able to place it vertically, so the people at the top that have been in longer, that have more sales and more action, are actually taking their volume and placing it at the bottom with the newer people so that it gets them closer to earning a check and everybody benefits. Now that creates teamwork, that creates synergy. And those type of dynamics make all the difference in the world in the program working. So that's exactly what I do when I sit down to compare a multi-level or a network marketing program to the Market America unfranchised business opportunity and the binomial system with the MPCP. You can see that the differences are tremendous and the advantages are overwhelming for our system. But there's many different types of multi-level programs. And someone may want to split their hair and they say, yeah, but what about matrix programs or unilevel and forced matrix programs or binary matrix and other MLM and network models or variations? Because there's a lot of them, and some of them were actually created to address some of those issues, but they're still compromised. They still have the same fundamental problems. In fact, they exchange one set of problems for another set of problems. Okay? And at the end of the day, they all have some common problems that still exist. You know, first is the conflict of building width and depth in these horizontal models, where you have to build them at the same time to be profitable and self-defeating. And it's just very, very difficult to do. In these matrix and unilevel problems, it requires more people being involved because the volume levels aren't as high. The difficulty is that it's an unnatural progression where you're forced to fill out the levels symmetrically on successive levels, and the numbers become bigger and bigger. So that same problem of horizontal growth and everybody being in competition with everybody is multiplied when you do that in these type of programs on successive levels. If one person doesn't do their job and isn't productive, it looks good on paper when you start to multiply it out, but if one person doesn't do it, that multiplies out in no production, what we often call Swiss cheese or a dark hole, where there is nothing down below and somebody has to fill it in. The miracle of the binomial system is it's like water running down a mountain. It takes the path of least resistance. It's organic. It's like people meeting people. It's exactly like the movie model. People lead to people. It doesn't matter what fills out, what rate it goes at. If it leads to somebody somewhere infinitely down that line, that string, everybody benefits, and the program succeeds for those who are actually building it and develop the second leg. So that's the bottom line. The problem of filling out levels and losing credit for business off the pay line is a big problem. Quite often, even in a matrix or a unilevel program, that is what is actually going to happen. And then the cutoff at the end of the month, and everybody who has not earned or has not made it being reset to zero is a discouraging factor for anybody trying to build the business. Okay? And it requires filling out levels in a non-organic structure that does not follow reality. Okay? It's not the way it really happens in real life. And it requires too many people and too much volume for any one individual or person to make money. That's the bottom line. Yeah, I think by now we've demonstrated effectively why the Market America unfranchised business opportunity and the binomial MPCP is superior to other models and programs. But there's other dimensions to it that power it, that make it even more powerful and create a greater probability of success. And one of those is in regard to global expansion. Many people that have been in these other programs want to talk about global reach and how it translates into the marketing plan. And we have another presentation that explains a whole nother level of income multiplication and leveraging income and being able to earn multiple times on the same volume and to be able to complete legs in one region or a country from what happens in another. They don't have these type of things. So it's worth learning about. I don't intend to go over it right now, but in MLM programs, you max out in any plan that is unified because it goes off the pay line in depth if there's too many levels. They lose overflow. In a binary program, the top centers are maxed out and they don't really benefit from a normal unification. And the Market America UnFranchise has a multiplier because of what we call IRCs and UGCs, and you can learn this later. All I want you to know is that there's another level and dimension to this that people that have been in other programs will appreciate because they don't have that aspect and they can't multiply their income like you can here. And so we have a global reach program where you can sell products worldwide. And this goes over the different aspects of it, our unified regions, the EMP program to reach into other areas, okay? And then the global unification leading into UGCs and IRCs allows miraculous combinations that anyone can benefit to complete legs or to earn multiple times on the same volume. So that's worth discussing. So what I'd like to do now is simply discuss with you the other dimensions that are important to go over. You can read faster than I can speak, so there's really nothing gained by me actually going through the entire slide because it says exactly what I would say to the person that I'm sitting with. Okay? But the dimensions of Market America beyond the comparison of the marketing plan again, are the product brokerage concept, the internet marketing concept, the one-to-one marketing concept, social commerce and tools, and then the dimensions of the unfranchised that actually make it work better, that help people succeed. You can put all of the diagrams in the world on the board and put numbers in them, but if it's not doable, if it's not duplicatable, what good is it? And of course, this is what that addresses, and it makes it as simple as following the system. Okay, one of the most important differentials and advantages of the Market America unfranchised system is, of course, Shop.com and the shopping experience as a product brokerage company and internet marketing company. And the fact that we're providing UFOs a Shop.com turnkey online shopping business in a box with all the technology for internet shopping and an internet shopping site with hundreds of Market America brands, with 10 major divisions representing multi-billion-dollar markets, and providing retail profit and BV resulting in residual income, and over 40 million brand name products on Shop.com that they're already buying, with fulfillment, e-commerce, credit card processing, SEO, SEM, metrics, promotion, cashback, customer tracking, back office and real-time reporting, digital marketing tools, and customer service is phenomenal. That would cost someone hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's a real asset here. And they don't get that anywhere else, and that's not accessible to them anywhere else. And my point is, it's real. We're putting them in a real business that can generate real residual income and real retail profits. And then if they don't have that anywhere else, I think it's worth emphasizing because it's another dimension that is totally different than any other MLM or network marketing program. So you get all of that when you become a Market America unfranchised owner, and that's really what the business is built around. This is just not rhetoric. This is real. This is what the business is really all about and centered upon. And because of that, I think it's really worth mentioning. And think about it. You get all of these things that make that shopping experience and internet marketing business and product brokerage business work. A real online marketing business that has all the components that would normally cost someone hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to develop. And that is your business when you become a Market America UnFranchise owner. You have something real, something substantial, something that works, something that's technologically on the cutting edge. And so it's important to emphasize that. But if you were to go into an internet business or an online shopping business or market a product online, if you actually did it, you would end up having to service the customers, do fulfillment, watch the metrics, do promotions, and it becomes a full-time job, and you end up in a brick and mortar business. The beautiful thing here is we have that same power, but without the downside, without all the overhead, without all of the problems that would normally have to be incurred. Why? Because of the vertical system. You can handle a certain number of customers yourself, but then you're able to offload it by setting up other people in UnFranchises with absolutely no dilution. They don't make less because you brought them in, and you don't make less because they're handling the business. The way the system works is they get 100% credit for the volume, and so do you, but it doesn't dilute your residual income, nor does it dilute their residual income, and they're able to make the retail profit, and you make the retail profit on the products that you have. So each Shop.com website owner has the customers that are screened and protected, and our tracking system is just incredible. It doesn't matter where somebody goes in the world, it's going to track them and bring those sales back to your Shop.com business, your UnFranchise, for your residual income. You own the customer, you have a complete back office, it's vertical marketing, you don't need employees to run it, you can expand distribution through others, it's credited to each person's residual income, including your own, and you make money on the distribution thread without having to have a brick and mortar full-time business trying to handle all the problems of internet shopping. So it's pretty remarkable and makes it quite different. So this slide actually goes into depth on how this is an advantage where you are in the middle of the hottest industry in the economy, but you don't have the downside and the headaches of it, and you can use that trend to build a solid residual income. And of course, you know, the technology and the functionality and the product reach and the brands. And I just asked somebody, who do you know that buys any of this, is shopping for any of this? Do you do it? Well, right away, you have to consider the fact that you're losing all that income. It could be going to you because you could save the money and they could get cash back. And of course, it makes possible the shopping annuity. We have all the technology tools to facilitate this, to develop customers. Okay? So it's a total turnkey system, and it doesn't exist in those other programs. Okay? So these slides are basically designed to make sure that you hit all of the important points that differentiate us from the also-rans, from the other types of programs that make us superior, that give us a competitive edge. And of course, we've already gone through the product brokerage concept, but at the end of the day, it's important to be market-driven, to build your business based on what people are buying and need and looking for rather than what we want to sell them. UnFranchise owners and customers determine the products that we offer, and we find a problem or a love that each customer that we know or person that we know has. When we show them the product and it solves that problem, or they fall in love with it because it's better than what they already love, you have a customer for life. So it's built solid from the bottom up. Now, one of the very important differentiating points about the Market America UnFranchise business opportunity is that we're a product brokerage system, and we have the Market America University to support those billion-dollar markets that are under the Market America umbrella in the mall without walls. Now, in other programs, if you're selling a berry drink or an electronic item or a water filter, you're only going to interest people that are interested in that. But if the real goal is to develop residual income, It's much better to be able to do what you're good at. Just like when you go to a university, if you study music, you may not be studying mathematics, but somebody else is, and somebody else is good at. Well, you can get both here. So we have much greater market breadth, and we have an opportunity for different interests and things that different people are good at that not only expands our market base, our market breadth, but allows you to attract entrepreneurs with many different interests from many different backgrounds that are good at many different things. But it all goes into the MPCP and the binomial system to generate you residual income. I think that's a wonderful feature because when you compare it to something else, they're limited in scope. They're limited in who they can talk to or who they can offer a real opportunity to. That's pretty phenomenal. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all these slides, but I think it's important for the person that you're talking to understand the reason for BV and the economic glue that it creates and the residual income that it creates very quickly along with a retail profit, and then how the IBV is an additional layer of pay on the same people, same customers, because we can provide people anything that they want. And those dimensions become important for them to understand. Of course, the billion-dollar markets and the marketing monster is a winner all the time, because the ability to be able to move with the marketplace and add any product line that's hot, and to be able to utilize the billion-dollar markets that are already out there to expand our scope and our reach and to bring more good entrepreneurs into the business, it speaks for itself. So that gives you greater recruiting reach. You're able to recruit a broader range of people into the program entrepreneurially because we're a product brokerage and internet marketing company. And so I go through these slides. You can say it, you can read it faster than I can say it, but these are the points that I want to make to absolutely convince them and to make very clear the advantages and the differences of our program. Because it's more than just the marketing plan. It's how everything works together to create a successful retail business and a successful residual income with things that are on the cutting edge, that are forward-looking. Okay, so as we go through this, it leads me to the shopping annuity. That's a dimension that nobody has, being able to convert spending into earning using transfer buying while people are actually saving money. It's a phenomenal concept, very attractive to them. So I would go through that, and this slide actually shows why we're able to do something like this. It's so phenomenal. It takes certain assets. If you weren't a product brokerage company, you couldn't do it. If you weren't an internet marketing company, you couldn't do it. If you didn't have our tracking system, you couldn't do it. So it's good to go through the reasons why this is possible here, and it's just not rhetoric, it's real, okay? And that allows us to basically change the way people shop and have a global reach and a program that addresses people at every level of society to improve their economic situation. And then, of course, we have an arsenal of social media tools, strategies, and campaigns. And I think it's important to mention the fact that we are leading the parade in areas that there is massive action and interest. What are people interested in today? And that's what our program is based on. And behind that, we utilize social media with campaigns, with tools, all integrated into the program. Most of them don't have that. They have to do it on their own. And of course, the breakthrough of meeton.com as a platform to be a digital NMTSS, to be able to reach their people, train people around the world, have them visit events. These type of dynamics and methodologies don't exist with other companies. And it's another competitive edge that not only show that there's more money in the program, but you can actually make it work better to earn that money. And we know that people hate to be sold and they love to buy. And at the end of the day, we are a one-to-one marketing company, and we're able to actually find products that existing customers want to continue to build that volume base. So remember the original Genesis, the movie story, and that one-to-one marketing is at the center of what we're doing, which means we'll always be moving forward individually with every customer, finding what they want, but at the same time accessing the new emerging markets that people are interested in. So I put this in here because everybody's had the movie experience. And I think it goes a long way to make what we're talking about understandable and believable. That it's not a concept that doesn't already make sense. So when a idea whose time has come emerges, it's impossible to stop it. I think they end up realizing that this is an idea whose time has come. And these slides are used to basically recap all the advantages or benefits of the Market America UnFranchise system and substantiate why it's solid, why it makes sense, and why it's better than any other opportunity out there, because they don't have these things. And quite often they might have a piece here, a piece there, but not a totally integrated program like the Market America UnFranchise system. And of course, that leads again back to the MPCP, and I just go through all the different ways that our company is totally different. The philosophy, the attitude, the execution, the systemization, the uniformity, okay, and the actual building of volume by building a solid customer base of repeat customers. And then, of course, the concept of width versus depth permeates everything that we talk about in every conversation. It just affects everything. You can better do the best job in the world developing 2 lines of entrepreneurs at once rather than 20 for maximum profitability, and then repeat that as many times as you want and have it benefit everyone rather than it's the people that you're working with. So the vertical system and understanding the power of that and how revolutionary it is very important. So these slides go through the salient points, okay? Again, talking about searching to infinity to find volume to pull up rather than trying to build layers or symmetrical fills of people buying product in order to develop a multi-level program. This is not a multi-level program. It's actually a tracking system to build residual income. And so emphasizing the multiplication of income for the big hitters to any level you want by using re-entry and how that benefits everyone is a very powerful slide. So at the end of the day, one of the incredible defining features of the Market America binomial system and tracking system is the way it finds volume and the way the accumulation of volume works. And I often tell people it's kind of like water at the top of a mountain or a reservoir, and you open the locks and let the water run down. It's going to follow the path of least resistance. It doesn't have to cover the whole mountain. It's just going to run wherever it's easier to run, just like people meeting people or the movie example. And eventually it's going to get down to the bottom of the mountain in a lake, in a stream, in a river, or an ocean. And when it hits there, you get paid. That's how it works. It's a natural progression. And because the products are good and all the systems are there and there's the synergy of people working together, it's a very natural process. But you don't have to fill any levels out. We don't have to sell people certain amounts of products on successive levels. It just flows and it just goes with the flow down the mountain, the path of least resistance, knowing that it's eventually going to hit the lake, the reservoir, the pond, and you're going to get paid. That's a beautiful system. And so there's other points that I go over. Pricing is very important when it comes to how well a program will work and how much regenerated sales and volume that you have and how much of a continuity program it becomes. So I like to explain to them how we price and that we are never overpriced. We're competitive, and how the money actually works with the BV and the IBV. A lot of these people have suffered a lot of abuse. So they've had a lot of disappointments. To know that this is a real company, that everything's based on logic, everything's open, is very encouraging quite often to them. So I explain to them exactly how we do business as a corporate model and how it works with the MPCP, because it builds their confidence, it builds their understanding, it builds belief. So that's what these slides are about, that we allow for the retail profit, how the maximum BV and IBV is calculated, yet there's enough to pay for the product and make it quality, make it competitive. Being able to do those things all at once are the key to success. So I go through that. That's what these slides are fundamentally about. And at the end of the day, it's the most lucrative and profitable program in existence based on the plan, dynamic, scope, mathematics, and markets. You can make more money based on the number of active participants, distributors, volume. It's 4.6 times more profitable overall than MLM. You have greater stability and residual income, and based on the others, it's based on other people earning rather than making money off of people. What else do you want? And we can prove it all. So as a result, we have higher retention rate. It requires fewer people. It's driven by solid, repeat, regenerated sales. And all commissions are actually covered by a product being liquidated from consumption and use, or a retail customer buying it on a repeat basis. So it's a real program. And the proof is always in the pudding. It shows in our growth, our sales, and our commission growth. So, the next important factor is that the UnFranchise, the systemization, the use of requirements, the required training, the focus of team coaching, all the things that it provides makes a big difference. And they probably didn't have that somewhere else. And it actually is like a franchise and run like a franchise. It's just not lip service, and what the benefits of that are. And of course, I like to emphasize the NMTSS, because most people have never had such a powerful system that's been so successful and so effective in helping people expand their business and stabilize their business at home. And there are other types of network marketing and MLM programs. That's why this is in the course. We have a separate training on it. But I do like to mention that matrices and unilevels and other variations have similar problems, but require less of a purchase or qualifying volume, but they require more people participating to make money. So they trade one thing off for the other. So in other words, if you're not buying 5,000 or 3,000 in a multi-level program, you might need 30 people rather than 10 people at 300 to make it work in the other system, but they still have the same basic problems. And that's another lesson for another day. But generally, some of these things reach a point that they cross the line into pyramiding. And fundamentally, pyramiding is simply selling the right to sell. So you have to buy something or pay some type of consideration in order to be able to involve others to sell. And when they pay for it, you make money on them. So the way they make money is they have to get others in that buy the right to sell. And they have to pay some fee, some consideration. One way of doing it is to mask it with products. So they buy $5,000 worth of products. The products are not sold. There's no customers for them. And it sits in their closet. They hope to move it. They say that there's a buyback guarantee. But fundamentally, at the end of the day, a person buys 5,000, they got to get 4 people in buying 5,000 to make their money back, and then maybe they'll sell it and be able to buy another 5,000. And that repeats over and over again. Now, when this is done in a binary plan or a matrix plan, okay, it still can become a pyramid, because if there's not regenerated sales, and if it's not based with requirements on people having to do so much per month and retail so much and have so many customers and to carry their own load, and it's just about selling spots or positions, it becomes the same thing. It becomes selling the right to sell and a pyramid, but they have smaller units. So a person starts selling these spots or these positions, okay? But there's no volume the next month, so they have to add a whole nother set of people in order for people to get paid here because there's no reoccurring regenerated volume. Now, I invented the binomial system, the binary system, and the whole premise of it was the compounding effect that could be created from regenerating sales without having to go into competition with each other in width, that would grow and grow and grow and build great, tremendous incomes for many people based on the same regenerated sales from the top all the way to the bottom, but it's being substantiated, reconciled, and supported from the bottom up by regenerated sales and real customers that each person had doing the threshold amount of 200 or more. So in either program, you have to add more people buying in at the baseline. It becomes exponentially larger and larger if nobody's doing any volume above in order for people to get paid. MLM accomplishes this by getting more people to buy levels by purchasing inventory. The matrix programs, unilevel programs, do it by having to get more and more people in at the baseline to support the structure above. And matrix basically has a Swiss cheese problem, and we'll show you that. But when you talk about commission calculation, binary searches unlimited levels for volume down 2 organizations. Binomial, however, has regenerated volume and requirements that stabilize the business, increase profitability, and ensure that everybody's carrying their load, which gives you a stronger income. MLM pays on fixed percentages on finite levels. Binary means 2, MLM means many, so you need many legs rather than just 2 legs. Okay? The problem in all MLMs, whether they be matrices, unilevels, or stair steps, breakaways, is you have to build width in order to get profitability, but depth at the same time to get security. It's difficult to do the same in multiple lines. So you can't build profitability and security at the same time in this model. They're done separately. How many plates can you spin? You've ever seen the old demonstration with the guy throwing plates on top of spinning sticks? By the time he gets down to 3, 4, or 5 of them, the ones he started with are wobbling and falling over. But in the binomial system, we build just 2 lines and make more money if we built 10 lines over here. And it just compares the fact that we're able to triple our profitability and secure our income as we multiply our income by building vertically. And of course, this re-emphasizes it in the model. This is an interesting slide that you can use, MLM versus binary. In binary, you don't have regenerated volume. They're basically selling positions. There's no requirements, okay? It doesn't have the dynamics that I have. It's just a matter of putting people in and selling spots. So you end up needing exponentially larger numbers of people at the baseline in order for people up here to keep getting paid. The problem over here is that in order to build so many lines, every time you get another one that succeeds and breaks off, you got to replace them, so they start inventory loading. Now, a matrix has an interesting problem called Swiss cheese. It looks good on paper when you look at the various levels, and they usually have percentage payouts that grow higher and higher with successive levels because you have larger numbers down there. So it looks good on paper, but in reality, let's suppose this person in the third, this is a 3-by matrix where each person gets 3 people, 3, 3, 3, okay? Well, one doesn't do it, it creates this hole. We call it Swiss cheese or a black hole, where there's no production there. Who's going to fill that in? Well, somebody at the top has to fill it in order for it to work. So in this example, their first level person quit or disappeared or didn't do anything. Now, you know the way it works in binomial, it just keeps going up. It doesn't matter. That would all be Swiss cheese or a hole. Who's going to fill it in? So that, we know human nature, and that's going to happen. So the problem with that type of program, it takes increasingly larger numbers of people that need to be filled in by the person above in order to make it work. and it just requires too many people because you're trying to fit them into a fixed structure. And in reality, people don't fit into a fixed structure. In the binomial system, it's organic. It just follows whoever leads to whoever with no time limits, okay? And it goes to infinity and finds somebody that does do it, and then everybody benefits. So I think you can understand that. And that's what this slide's about. It kind of shows it. You didn't have to fill out levels. It's not based on paying percentages on levels. It just works its way down to find the volume, pull it up, and anybody who's doing the program then benefits. You know, so we know that in that traditional MLM program that I showed you, it ends up in inventory loading, or it seems to have a propensity for that because it economically encourages it. And this type of program basically has a flaw in that without regenerated volume, you have to have exponentially increasing larger numbers of people. So this just goes through the difference between binomial and MLM commissions, binomial and binary programs, the differences, and that one of the advantages of binary or binomial is that you can have multiple distributorships by re-entry, like multiple unfranchises, and build them vertically so that everybody's working together and you're not spreading yourself too thin and you're securing your income at the same time. But if there's no business in an unfranchise, in the binary system, and it just requires getting new people, that concept doesn't work. So that's a tremendous difference between the binomial system and the binary system. And so this simply goes through these points. It re-emphasizes it in one of our actual diagrams, how it works to drive the point home. And at the end of the day, when a binary system is simply selling spots or a service or a membership, and nothing is getting sold to an end user or a consumer, and it's not even being consumed by them, or it gets consumed once and they don't want to buy it again, you fundamentally have the need for exponentially larger numbers of people being recruited at the baseline for it to work for anybody, and it's ultimately going to implode. Okay? But the emphasis is on retailing product and repeat sales. The binary system then has a compounding effect, and if it's systemized with requirements, it can become a binomial system. Most people copied what I did. They call it binary. It's definitely not binomial. So this illustrates that in a system where there is no continuity or regenerated sales or requirements, and no systems to support that to help make it happen, you end up with people buying in once, earning a check, and then there's no volume, so you have to have exponentially larger numbers of people at the baseline in order to support these people earning, but nobody in between then is earning. But in the binomial system, with our unfranchised and product brokerage and internet marketing and all the things that we do in the Mall Without Walls, in the Market America University, it's all about generating repeat sales to non-participants of the program. So it's solid from the bottom up. And of course, the dynamics of the binomial tracking system is to go down and find that volume wherever it is. The requirements ensure that everybody's carrying their load in order to benefit. So here's what you end up with. It's solid from the top because they have regenerated sales. They don't need more people to keep earning checks. They have customers, regenerated sales, and the distributors. But when you do build the expand, everybody above is benefiting, but that's new volume, okay, that's going to solidify their income, earn them income. And then when you have new people come in at the bottom from the recruiting efforts here and here, okay, these people are earning bigger checks. The new people earn from the bottom up, the first cycle in the marketing plan, exactly the way we show it and build. But these people are earning regular, secure residual incomes, and these people are earning incredible incomes and their dreams are coming true. It's solid from the top down, and the bottom up. I hope you get that. That compounding effect was the whole purpose of developing the binomial tracking system and the binary binomial system with the UnFranchise. So, there's critical functions in our program that make it better beyond the marketing plan. And when they're all used in the system, everybody that uses them in the system lifts off and experiences success. And it's proven by our history and the number of unfranchised owners that are earning six-figure incomes or have earned millions of dollars, and the success story continues. I kind of feel sorry for people that have been stuck in an MLM program or a network marketing program. Tremendous amount of respect for their entrepreneurism, and when they actually succeed, they have accomplished a great feat. I'm not here to say that anything is wrong with these programs. There's nothing wrong with the old typewriter. There's nothing wrong necessarily with the 8-track. There's nothing wrong with the old reliable paper map. I just rather use GPS. I rather have streaming, and I rather have an iPod, or a computer to do my word processing on. It's not that one is wrong and one is right, but this one is definitely better. So I hope that this has helped. We'll have more lessons under the Binomial and UnFranchise Manifesto, so that you know the why behind everything and the reasons by everything, so you don't have to build the business simply on belief. You're building the business because you know the reasons, you know the story, and you know the facts. So God bless you. I hope this has helped, and we'll continue the journey.